In this example, we are going to see some operations performed to 3D vectors A, B, and C. Let's start with the first one. We want to see what we get if we multiply the vector A by the scalar 2 and then we subtract C. These operations can be done in the components. That's how we got the vectors given. So I'm going to multiply the components of the vector A by 2 to get -2, 4, 6. And then I need to subtract the vector -2, 2, 4. And I need to subtract the components. So in the x component, I'm going to get 0. In the y component, 2. And in the z component, 2 as well. So this is the vector we wanted to find. First, we now wish to find the magnitude of the vector b plus c. So we will begin by summing the vectors b and c. So we have to sum the components. So 1 plus -2 is the sum of the x components. -3 plus 2 is the sum of the y components, and 2 plus 4 is the sum of the z components. So this vector has components -1, -1, 6. Now we want to find the magnitude of this vector. So we want to find the square root of the squares of the components. So -1 square sums -1 plus -1 square plus 6 square. This is the square root of 38. So we have our third operation to perform. We have the magnitude of the vector A. That's just a number, scalar, and that's what we want to multiply the vector B by. Notice that so far we don't know how to multiply vectors. We'll learn this soon. We'll learn different ways of multiplying vectors, but that's not what we're doing here because this is actually just a real number. So let's begin by finding what that real number is. So we need to take the square root of the sum of the square of the components of A. -1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square. This is 1 plus 4, 5 plus 9, 14, square root of 14. That's the number we want to multiply our vector B by. So we multiply the components and we'll get square root of 14 -3 times square root of 14 and 2 times square root of 14 for our new vector. And the last thing we want to do, we want to find a vector that is a unit vector, so has magnitude 1 and has the same direction of A. So we want to write the vector 1 over the magnitude of A multiplying A. So this new vector will have the direction of A and magnitude 1, which is what we want. And since we already found the magnitude of A, we need to multiply our vector by 1 over square root of 14. This is the vector with components -1, 2, and 3. So this vector will be -1 over the square root of 14, 2 over the square root of 14, and 3 over the square root of 14. And those were the operations we wished to perform.